Hey guys, it's Tasha from Starring You, and in today's tutorial I wanted to show you a couple tips that I learned in how to use my iPhone. So I have an iPhone 10 and this phone has a lot more features for the camera than I initially knew existed. So I wanted to just show you guys some of the things that exist in case you are like me. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to make sure that we go to our settings. Okay, let me turn this right side up. Okay, we want to go to our settings, and then we want to go all the way down until we find the camera. Click on camera, and then if this has not been preset for you, make sure that the grid option is highlighted. So you want to make sure that is on. Okay, that's going to help you take a lot more balanced photos. And in case, I'm not going to get too technical here, but there's something called the rule of thirds. Definitely take a look at that. I'll leave a link in the description to help you learn a little bit more about that rule. But this grid is going to help you achieve that. So I'm going to get out of here, and then I'm going to go to camera. Now, as you can see, the grid appears automatically, but don't freak out. It's not going to print when you go to print out your photos. So right now I'm actually at the park right now shooting this tutorial, and I'm sure you could probably tell I've got this in a vertical type of position. When you're shooting your photos, I'm getting ready to turn this, you want to be in a horizontal position, okay? Most photos are typically taken in a horizontal position. It enables you to capture a lot more of the landscape, and it's just all around better, okay? So some of the functions that I want to show you guys, in case you're not familiar with it, this flash, okay? Right now I have it off. I could put it on auto if I saw fit, but I typically like to keep it on off because sometimes there are different photos that I want to take that I don't necessarily need the flash for. Now, one thing that I will show you guys is this HDR feature. And I do like to keep this on auto, okay, because I know that I need to turn it off or on. HDR stands for high dynamic range. And so, as you can see, I'm going to take a photo right now. See how the sun is right here, and we've got some contrasting, colors going on. HDR, high dynamic range, actually captures and retains the colors that are initially in the photo. So I don't know if you guys have ever seen this. Sometimes there are photos where you see it looks totally overexposed. Like this part on the left would probably be a lot more overexposed if I shot this by taking off the HDR, which I will. So be sure to check out the blog post so you can see a difference between taking a photo in HDR and taking a photo without HDR. And then I'm going to take that same shot with HDR on, okay? So I really have enjoyed taking a lot of my photos with HDR. Didn't know that it existed. And here's another feature called Live, guys. The Live feature, I used to be so irritated by the Live feature, okay? In order to know that you're shooting in live, you have to highlight that button, that yellow button. If it's yellow, that means that that particular feature is on. If it's not yellow, then it's off, okay? Now, the live feature used to drive me insane because any little, I didn't quite understand what the whole purpose of it was. And the whole purpose is allowing you the ability to do fun things like the loop feature or the boomerang feature without needing another app. I didn't even know that was possible because I always use other apps when I wanted to do that. But again, I'll show you that in a minute and how to go about using that particular feature. So I just want to run through everything that's up here because you may not be aware of it. Then we've got the timer feature. So if you're trying to take a selfie, guys, you have the ability to actually do so by just using 3 seconds or 10 seconds. Depends on how many people are in the picture. Sorry, obviously if you're taking a selfie, you're by yourself. But in the event that you were taking, like a group shot or something like that, you have the ability to choose how many seconds you want to use. And then up here is the filters. So we could play around with the different filters. Look at that. Noir, vivid, and go back to your original. Okay? All right, guys, so in this segment of the video, we're going to learn how to shoot a silhouette portrait. So one of the first things that you need to do is make sure that when you're trying to shoot this particular shot, you've got the sun, then you have the subject, and then you obviously have yourself as the photographer. So the first thing I'm going to do is click on camera. And as you can see, there's kind of a shadow going on already. Okay. But let's say there wasn't. All I have to do is make sure that I click on here, okay? And then the next thing that I'm going to do is, so I've got the focus on, okay? And then you see this little sun right here? That's the exposure. Oops, I can bring that over. If I click on that sun and bring it all the way down, see how she almost disappears completely? And then if I want to bring it back up, have more light to the picture, there you go. But again, if you're trying to do a silhouette type of portrait, you want to bring this down a little bit further. But again, we already have the silhouette action kind of going on. So just wanted to show you very quickly how you can go about doing that. And in the event that you're trying to figure out, should I shoot in HDR or should I not shoot in HDR? I believe, if I recall from memory, the folks at the Apple Store said it's best to shoot in HDR. Okay, so hopefully I'm not wrong on that. But again, you can play around with this, but it's a very, very cool feature that you should check out. And if you double tap, guys, one more thing. If you not double tap, but if you hold on, you'll get that AEAF lock. So if you know that you're going to be shooting quite a bit the same pose, the same style and all that good stuff, then you may want to lock your screen. All right? Hope this was helpful. All right, guys, so remember in the last segment, I was talking about how iPhone has the live feature that I used to find to be quite annoying. That's because I didn't really know how to use that particular feature. That feature is super cool in the event that you want to use the looping feature or the boomerang feature effect, okay? So this picture I used taking the live iPhone feature, and you can tell because there's live at the top, at the left top of the screen, right? So let's say I wanted to have this particular photo use the looping effect, okay? Let's take a look and see how that looks. So all I did was I swiped up and I chose loop, and now look at what it's doing. You see that, guys? I used to use another app whenever I wanted to do these type of effects. Same thing. If I swipe up, I can do the bounce effect. See that, guys? And then there's another effect called the long exposure. And so, I don't really know why people use this type of effect. To me, it's kind of, I guess if you're going for more of an abstract kind of look, that makes sense. But again, I don't really use this particular feature. But these are all the different things that you can do when you are using the live feature. And let's say, for example, guys, that you don't want to, there's a particular shot that you would rather use instead. So right here, I went to edit, and as you can see, I have live on. You have the ability, in the event that you took a photo using live, to turn that off. Click on that button right there, and now the photo is no longer a live photo. I can actually do a lot of things with this. I can rotate the picture if I wanted to, okay? I can crop the picture. And then as always, you know, one of the great features with iPhones is that you have the ability to always go back to the original if you see fit. I can use the different features, the filters right here. I have the ability to mess around with the colors and the contrasting, make it a black and white. Again, you can't really mess anything up, guys. You have the ability to go back and redo it, all of this if you want to. And then you can also use the markup feature if you wanted to. If I wanted to draw something on here, let's see, Tasha. Okay, I can do that, or I can undo, which is what I'm hitting right now. Okay, I'm gonna click done. Okay, done. And there's my photo. Okay, now if I wanted to go back, I could hit edit and then revert, and I'll go back to my original picture. Okay, now another feature that I want to show you guys is when you go to the camera mode, okay, you have the ability to choose portrait. And let me actually do that really quickly. Okay, portrait. You see that? Now, you have, where I'm at right now is kind of dark, but it doesn't matter. I just want to show you how you have the ability to choose all of these different options. You have got natural light, studio light, contour, stage mono light. Now, I actually have some photos already that I've taken using those particular features. So I'm going to go back, scroll all the way through my pictures, and I want to show you guys this. Using the portrait feature, look at all the different like variations I was able to do. So the portrait feature, what it does, it enables the subject to be the forefront of the photo. It actually does this really cool bokeh effect, if you will. In my opinion, it does a really cool bokeh effect without actually doing anything with the filters. And in case you're wondering, bokeh effect is basically when you have the background kind of blurred out and the subject is in the forefront. They are very prominent in the picture. You see how it's kind of blurred out behind me? I didn't do anything to make that happen, guys. All I did was I used the portrait feature, okay? And so if you want to do that, you can as well. Another cool thing, look at this. Now, I was sitting at that same table when I took this picture, okay? If I'm not mistaken, I believe this is the not stage light. Stage light has a lot more it brightens the picture a lot more. I think this one is the mono light feature. Again, you could play around with the different types of portrait settings, but the way that I got to this was, again, if you go to camera, portrait, and then you can play around with the different settings. And I'll do it one more time just to show you guys that. But again, so many different things that you can do with, okay, see that? Portrait, natural, studio, contour. Again, where I'm at is kind of dark, so you're not going to be able to see anything. Stage light mono. And if I'm not mistaken, when I took one of those pictures, I think the picture with the black background, I believe that was using the stage light mono. I think it was stage light mono, how I took that picture. But again, guys, so many different variations that you can take using your iPhone. I mean, there's so much that you can do with this phone, guys. And I truly hope that this tutorial has been helpful for you. I know for a fact it's definitely helped me creating some of these really cool features and effects. So again, let me know if you've got any questions. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video.